I can ask, Quinn, you're
I didn't.
supposed to
I
be
didn't
married.
say. I didn't
Wait,
say what.
wait,
I
wait,
didn't say
wait,
what can you
wait.
do.
I'm
No,
talking
hold on,
wait.
hold on. You
I'm
look. I
talking
didn't say
wait.
what you can do.
Let me finish.
No, I
Let
didn't
me
say what
finish
you
what
can
I'm
do. All
saying.
I'm saying is
Let me
you're
finish
bringing
what
up
I'm
what men
saying.
do and
Hold
men
on,
do, and
one
he
mic.
asks you
Let
what
One.
you
me
bring to
finish
the.
Wait.
what I'm
Wait a
saying.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a
Let me
minute. What?
thank
Hold on,
you. Let me
Miranda.
finish what I'm saying.
One second. 1 second. One mic. Okay. So keep it classy.
I'm just listening to what everybody's saying, and it sounds to me like we are saying that if a woman chooses to leave a relationship later on in life, that the perception is that because she's single later on in life, that there's something wrong with her. But what's interesting about that to me is that like it completely excuses whatever buffoonery the man may have contributed to the situation. And at what point do we as men become like accountable for the like my man said earlier, they control sex, we control relationships. I agree with that to an extent. We absolutely set the tone in the relationship. We set the tone in our households. You know what I'm saying? Our energy sets the tone. So I say all that to say that like if I was going off of that, then I don't know. I think from a societal standpoint, yes, fertility is definitely linked to the value of a woman from a societal standpoint. From an individualistic standpoint, though, I've never met a woman and measured her up based on her ability to have children, or whether or not she had children already, or whatever. What I will say though is that like to husband's point, when I have dated women who were single later on in life, because before I was married, I used to date all older women. My wife's 6 months older than me, and she's the youngest woman I've ever dated. So I remember saying to myself when I was like in my 20s, dating all these women who were single in their 30s and stuff, you know what? If she's single and she's that old and she's been through all that, there's usually been a reason for that, like in my experience. But I've also found that it's not always the same reason. You know what I mean? Like I don't, and I say that to say like you can't really, you got to deal with everything on face value. You can't really just deal with it in generalities and say, well, we look at you a certain way, and we look at and as men, we look at you a certain way just because you're single and over 30 and don't have kids and this, that, and the third. Because I'm interested to know how you got there.
So,
Yeah, and I
oh,
wanted to, before you jump in, husband, I also wanted to back that because that kind of takes me back to my original point about let's actually look at where we are placing the value. Your perception plays a lot in your ideas, your ideologies, what you believe, and how you view people in general. So depending on whatever mindset you have against women at all, will explain why, certain individuals may feel like her value is solely based off of fertility. Because that's all I've heard since we've had this conversation is that we are using her fertility as the value and that's it. So if you don't think women have any other value outside of that, then you might actually be the problem.
I
Right. And
want
I
to
was going
change
to
the
say,
word,
me
Mason.
personally, I'm over 30. I don't have kids. I've never been married. I don't base my value on the fact that I'm single. I don't base my value on the fact that I haven't been married. Like, I know that there's a lot that comes with me. We all got flaws, you know what I'm saying? I'm working on some of them, to be real. But yeah, I know what makes me valuable, and it is not on the fact that I'm still
Yeah.
single, nor is it on the fact that I don't have kids.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about your
Like,
perception.
huh?
It's your
That's
idea of
crazy to
how you
me.
view women. If you think women ain't nothing to nobody until she can pop some kids out for you, just for your legacy, that's a very selfish mindset because you're looking at all the benefit, what's gonna specifically benefit you, and even after you're gone, you're not like you. At that point, you might as well get one of them little cooker things, put your sperm in it, and just pop them out. Just completely do away with the woman in general if that's what we're getting to.
Yeah, let me read one of these comments
You
real
don't.
quick. But it's from Kirsten. Kirsten's like, good point, Mason. How did you get there? Rather than you're not of value because.
Right.
So yeah, like what?
Yeah.
So I actually
Right.
don't agree with
You don't
Mason's
determine your own
point at
value.
all.
because
Oh,
You
the
do.
men the
It
men
starts with you.
are account you asked what way are the men accountable. Men are not allowed to be broke in their later years because that's perceived by women as a bad sign. It goes both ways. Women that are still on the market later in life, it is perceived badly by men. He may not be honest with you, which is part of the reason why we have this conversation of alpha betas. Betas tend to lie to you, and then they show their true colors later, and then you be like, "Oh, he wasn't what he say he was." But alphas tend to be honest with you and say that is a
So
problem. We
are you
look at
saying
that.
you're a beta?
but see,
With
right?
the city
Are you a
miles.
Well,
beta?
well, when I was a beta, that's how I would look at the
So
situation
how
because
do
Oh,
I
you
would
what?
cater
transform?
to
How
your
do you
feelings.
transform from a beta to an alpha?
How do you?
How did you do it?
It, in short, I just want to
Probably
say I won't elaborate, but I'll just say I started going within and trusting God instead of leaning on my own understanding.
So if you
Okay,
trust
so
God, He would not be moving and operating like you.
So, so
oh come on.
the other thing is too
You
though
don't
is
supposed
that
to go there now.
when I spoke about accountability though, I'm talking about accountability in the relationship as far as like Charlotte said, like when she left for her own mental health and sanity and she was basically putting herself first is what I heard. And so if someone's not treating you correctly, it's not your duty to stay there and be abused emotionally for the fact that you want to be perceived as a high value woman. That's dumb as hell. So
Right, because in
that's
the
what I'm
relationship
that's
that
what
I
I'm
was
talking
in,
about. When I say
it was very high
accountability, I'm
value.
talking about men do things to end relationships, and it's
yeah.
not always her fault that she's single and
Yeah,
30.
yeah, it is. It is. The reason why it's
Charlotte,
her fault is because there's something within the person that picks, and this is a reality that I had to accept too. If I'm out here picking a no good woman, it's something within me that is attracting that evil. So you have to look within yourself. What about you is insecure that pick that guy who is abusive? You say there's something in you that is abusive. You are abusive to yourself. You have to look in. You cannot point at other people. If you
So
stay on the
I,
market,
I agree with that if it's a habit. I agree with that if it's a repeated mistake. But
Right.
if somebody has, I'm not accountable for your lack of character, and what I am accountable for is what I do after I learn that you don't have any.
Correct.
And so if you choose to then if you do a really good job of lying to me, that doesn't show how gullible I am. It shows how good of a liar you are. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh well, something's wrong with me because you're fucked up. No, you need to fix your stuff. What I need to
Hmm.
fix is, like you said, to your point, husband, I need to fix what's broken inside me that attracted you to my energy in the first place.
Mhm.
So I agree with you in that regard. But what I don't agree with is that it's a one-shot deal. It's not one of those things where if she's ever made a mistake ever, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now she is dealing with the other side of that. She's a messed up woman. Now, if she continuously makes the same mistake over and over again, or if she continuously runs to the same type of abuse over and over again, yeah, you need to address that within yourself. But
yeah,
at the same time, as
you ever
men, if we
and
messing up, we also need to be accountable for that too.
I
Right.
also
you
want
all
to
Yeah,
ever notice
Mason,
that?
say,
someone
husband.
made a comment directly towards Mason. They said Mongol is saying no, Mason, it shows your level of discerning is low as well.
To a certain
To an
extent, but
extent.
at the same time, I
Yeah,
think we all are learning. So it's like you're challenging this person to be perfect out the rip and saying like
Hmm.
that's like saying that you should never ever be hurt or taken advantage of or whatever. It's like, yeah, your level of discerning in that situation may have been off, but which one of y'all was born perfect? Like I'm trying to
right.
But
figure out.
Mason, that's not the we're challenging her to be obedient more so than be perfect. So
Okay.
we know when a person is putting in effort, and when a
Mhm.
woman stops putting that effort and they start, one of the biggest problems that we've already established here is that they want their own mind, and that becomes problematic because in order to become one, you have to move in the direction of the leader, and that's the biggest problem in the relationship dynamics. When in the as a man, we are telling you that you are leftovers because women that stay at the dealership too long, we saying, why is that car still standing there? It's got to be
They
some problems.
depreciate.
That's the reality.
The value depreciates. So what happened to the
Right.
women, right, that have taken some advice that you provided, right?
Yeah, what women
And
have you led correctly?
followed the man lead, and now she's a prostitute or
I'm gonna
she's on the
pass this to
street,
chill. You gotta chill.
Hmm?
I
right?
said I'm gonna
What
pass this
happened
to
to
chill.
those women that took responsive, like, followed the lead of men? What happened to those women?
And she ended up being a prostitute. That's an extreme case.
No,
Now,
but I'm just saying, but he's saying that women are not supposed to have their own mind. Now that's a case where a woman might not have her own mind and decide to follow the man.
I think I think he's saying like a woman in a relation or just a woman in a relationship, if she got her own like agenda, her own like, well, I'm gonna do it this way. You know what I'm saying? If we're not a unit and we're not thinking, okay, we're gonna move forward. It's funny. I'll use an analogy. So my wife is significantly shorter than me. And when I walk up to her and I put my arm around her or whatever, and we're on the opposite foot, she'll do a little skit and get us back on the same foot together. So we're walking on the same foot. If your relationship ain't like that, figuratively speaking, then there's gonna be, conflict. It's gonna be hard for y'all to walk forward together if y'all not on the same foot. And I think that's what husband is saying. So I definitely concur on that. What I don't feel like is that anybody should just completely lose their identity within a relationship. I don't.
But that's what husband is referring to. He wants
Well,
a woman to lose her
I
identity.
feel like
I am.
like any
To
man.
mesh into one person.
Tell
That's
Nah,
what husband wants. To mesh
I
into
feel like there's a
one.
balance.
Yeah,
It's funny
because
I hear
I
what
want
I
to point
hear.
out,
Go
I want
ahead,
to
bro.
point out, what husband was saying as far as, if he's picking bad women, then that's something that's reflecting in yourself, right? But see, at the same time, when you talk, you have this idea of women that, they should be either mindless, you like them more so mindless, always falling in alignment with every word you say, everything that you have has to be approved through you. Wouldn't that reflect something in yourself, that you just desire to you have to have a certain level of dominance? You cannot accept anything outside of your perception. You cannot accept anything else that will challenge you as the masculine man. Would you say that could be a problem within yourself? Because you have to have that dominance, right? Oh, the obedient woman, she does what you command. So,
The yes girl.
would that reflect some type of self-esteem issue within yourself?
I want
Not
to
at
answer
all.
that one.
Not at all. So when you lean on a man, we're describing someone who, who's capable. He doesn't lean on a man. He's not leaning on his emotions and stuff like that. The woman and the man are totally different. So when you're leaning on the man, it's actually a positive, because the woman's mind, she's her love is very emotional. It's built
So
on
what is love
emotions and
then?
it's huh.
So what
Okay.
is love? You said her love is emotional. So what
I'm
is
gonna let
love?
Chill take this one.
Can I
No, I'm
step
sorry. I
in?
don't want you to answer, husband. I want to answer.
What
I
is
want her to
what
I
is
answer.
want.
love?
I actually want to address her. I want to address her.
Which
You
one?
that's talking. Her
Oh,
who
It's
was just
more.
Miranda?
talking.
It's more real talk. It's more real talk.
More real talk. Hey, how you doing? All right.
I'm good.
So
How are
I've
you?
been listening. I'm good. I'm good. Still got to come to the office and but it
Yeah, is
is
that
what
a
it
vest you
is.
got on?
Yes, man. I deal with in the cold. It's cold in the freezer. I gotta go and check the inventory and make sure everything is good for tomorrow.
Oh,
But I wanted to talk to you specifically. How old are you?
about to be 28, March 29th.
28. March 28th.
No, March
Wow.
29th.
March 29th. Wow. All right. And what is it? What is it? What kind of value does a woman has that's useful to a man? Or wait, let me ask it this way: that a woman would use to take care of a man. What is it about her? What's her
What about
value?
her? What about her value? I would say one of the values of a woman is to be nurturing. That is something that is a trait that men do not have. You need the nurturing value that a woman brings into the household for yourself, for your kids, to keep things in a very smooth rotation. The nurturing value, the value that the woman has, to apply certain nurturing traits, is something that the man usually cannot provide. So you can always look at value as opposites from the man and the woman, right? You can look at things that the man can do that can be considered as valuable, and you can also look at the things that women do that can be considered as value. But see, I don't know if you're looking for a specific answer, but
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Can you describe what you bring to the table? Can you answer his question without bringing up a man?
So I am answering
Just talk about you.
Okay,
Just talk
so
about you.
Okay, let me finish.
So we're making things personal.
So let me finish.
I guess.
No, that's not
let me
personal.
finish. I got it. Hold on, let me finish. To Quint and to Chill. This is a discussion, an open discussion about the topics in general. Okay, in the beginning, when we first started this discussion, what did I say? I said, let's not go ahead and try to put things on people of what they should do, wouldn't do, or what you thought. This is an open discussion and not some type of what do you do? What can you do? Quint, because I can ask, Quint,
I didn't say what can you do.
I'm talking.
No, hold on. You look, I didn't say what you can do.
Let me finish.
No, I didn't say what you can do. All I'm saying is you're bringing up what men do and men do, and you ask me what you bring.
Wait a minute. What? Hold on, Miranda.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
One second. One mic, okay? So keep it classy.
So yeah, so let me finish and be quiet. So what I was gonna say to Quinn, as far as what you're saying, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the conversation? What do you bring to the conversation every week as a man that's married? You give no marriage advice. You have no real points of anything. You just like to jump in the same way that me and Chill are having a conversation. You feel the need to jump in and say something completely irrelevant every week. So
which I would like to get back to at some point.
Wait. So when you have something that's valuable and related to the actual situation and not about me, that's when you can talk.
I thought we weren't getting personal.
Going back to Chill.
I thought we weren't getting personal.
Going back to Chill. Chill, can you please re-ask me that question so we can get back on track?
I need to know what it is of value that you feel that women have that men find useful.
Okay, so I was just giving an example. I was using nurturing, right? And one of my, in addition to that, what I was saying is that if we want to look at it on a full scale of men and women about value and what we bring to the table, we can easily just look at what the opposite brings to the table. Certain things that men do that are valuable, and certain things that women do are valuable.
She froze.
Yeah, she froze.
Oh man, that's a hell of a pose too. Jesus.
Oh man.
Y'all cover that picture up, man. This is gonna go viral, man.
Not too much on my sister now. Let's don't.
Hey,
oh my God.
Honestly though,
it wasn't even like that.
We listening to you, host.
It wasn't even like that. Meaning that the pose was embarrassing.
So the question is,
one second. Yazi, we haven't really heard much from you. Please chime in.
Yes.
I'ma just go on the video of the
okay,
Chinese,
go ahead. Yeah,
Chinese woman. Okay,
please.
In her culture, she was considered. What was the word? The term?
A leftover.
A
leftover.
She was considered a leftover because that's their culture. I'm just gonna speak on American culture. I lost my husband, so I'm single, not by choice, but because I lost him. So eventually I want to date and I want to have more kids. I'm 33 now. I go to the doctor and she says, well, you need to have more kids before 35, 36. After that, I wouldn't recommend it because that's high risk. And you don't want anything wrong with your kids. So eventually I want to get out there. Well, I'm trying now to get out there and date so that I can have more kids, And if I so happen meet somebody who has kids already, then that's what it is because we're grown. Like, who doesn't have kids? Like, in a real world, who doesn't have kids? So I would take on their kids and I would want to have my own. But I don't consider me a leftover. Even if I couldn't have another kid, I wouldn't consider myself a leftover because kids don't make you who you are. It's some people that you meet that don't even want to have kids. I know a lot of people who are like 36 and up who don't even want to have kids. They don't have kids and they don't want to have kids. So who's to say they don't want you the way you are? Like, say I couldn't have kids. They wouldn't want to date me because I couldn't have kids. They still would date me. It doesn't make me a leftover. It just makes me compatible to that person.
Right.
Mhm.
To
You're
add
not
to
gonna be
Yazzie,
compatible to everybody. You just have to find who's for you.
Mhm.
And saying how you were saying, how y'all were arguing about the dealing with anybody and putting up with anybody's, how you were saying about how you were engaged twice and you let it go. You don't have to put up with anything you don't want to put up with. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of money you make. I don't care what lifestyle you live. You don't have to put up with anything you don't want to deal with. That goes for anybody, any race, any religion, anything.
that's why
It's
people
not
get divorced.
healthy. It's not healthy. So you can try, but if you decide that that person is not compatible or it's not going to work with you guys, then you need to just let it go before it becomes worse. You become unhappy. It becomes deadly. You don't like the person. It's just a mess. You're just settling at that point.
So I like to talk about that on what you're saying, and I believe yes, you have your way of looking at marriage, but I believe that's more of the same that keeps the divorce rate high. If a marriage is toxic, right? And I don't like even using that word toxic, but when there are levels of abuse, right? There's certain words that we can't use on YouTube, but if those certain things are happening, right? Any type of essay that's unwanted from the woman, or any type of physical abuse that's happening towards either side, man or woman, then yeah. But when it comes down to
Emotionally,
I'm unhappy, you have to work. And marriage is work. So with the moment when you say you're going to get into a marriage, that literally your vows are for richer or for poor, for better or for worse, not to when you feel like I'm just not happy right now.
And
I've been unhappy for the past like 10 months. So it's time for me to step out of this marriage. This is why we have so much broken homes in our community, because of that rhetoric that's constantly being pushed.